Okay, hello everyone. This is Professor Mustafa on behalf of JVM Smeta Degree College. I welcome you all for the webinar and title Winning in the New World. I would like to request our principal madam, Dr. Leena Sarkar, to address all the participants.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome all the delegates on behalf of Gyan Vikas Mandal's management, staff, and myself. JVM College started with a very humble background in 2001 with only 12 students. However, today we have grown to become NAC A grade college with over 3000 students. We are offering 11 UG and PG courses. Our college is also a recognized PhD center for chemistry. This has been possible due to visionary management, their continuous support and encouragement. It is this encouragement that has enabled us to organize this webinar in this day of crisis. But it is said that crisis brings out the best of human capabilities. Keeping this in mind, we have offered platform to the teachers across the board to gain from today's webinar and make better future for our society. Friends, today is also International Day of Light. This day is a call to strengthen scientific cooperation and harness its potential to foster peace and sustainable development. Our webinar of today, titled Winning in the New World, aims to bring out the best in a teacher to make a brighter society and sustainable development. I also welcome our today's speaker, Shri Ahmed Aftab Naqvi, co-founder and CEO, Gozoop and Spark Next. He is an excellent speaker and has been nominated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, as Champions of Change and is a part of Niti Aayog. Without taking much time, I request convener of the webinar, Mr. Mustafa Nalwala, to introduce our esteemed guest speaker. Wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I take this privilege to introduce speaker of the session. We keep on saying leaders are born, but what about those people who have taken up the responsibility of turning every seed into mighty full tree? This man sets the perfect example. He is thought leader in the digital space. He is quoted regularly in the Economic Times, Business Week, The Hindu, NDTV, among others. He has also presented internationally at numerous industry leading events like IDMA, ACEF, DMA. He has been privileged to be nominated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, as a Champions of Change. He is honored to be a part of the team that present their thoughts for a new India of Niti Aayog. He sparks interest and imparts knowledge by being a speaker or lecturer at prestigious colleges like Babson, SPJIMR, IIM, NMIMS, SP Jain Global, Wellinger, MIS Bocconi, Delhi University, among others. Without taking his much time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ahmed Aftab Naqvi. With virtual claps, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Namaste to everyone and a very good afternoon. Firstly, I would love to thank Dr. Leena Sarkar to give me this honor to come and address all of you inspiring teachers. I might be the CEO of Gozoop. I might be an entrepreneur who's leading one of India's largest independent marketing companies. But at my heart, I'm a teacher. I'm just like one of you, right? And that's why this session is so very special to me, right? And all my experience having taught at different universities, I look at it from two perspectives. I look at it from a teacher's lens, and I've looked at it from a leader's lens. And today, I'm going to share some of those experiences with you. But before I start, make sure that all of you can hear me clearly and can see. I would request all of you to switch on your videos for a moment and give me a thumbs up. So I know that all of you are there, and I'll just quickly call out names so that this is not just a one-way interaction, but a two-way interaction. I can see Jyoti. Hello, Jyoti. I can see Dr. Leena Sarkar. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? So I know that my voice is being audible there. I can see Pooja Singh. I can see Kanika. I can see Disha. I can see Aman. I can see Dr. Reshma. I can see Dr. Manjusha, Sheetal, Ganesh. Lovely, lovely. So I know that my voice is audible. Indra there with a fantastic.
Yes, sir. You are audible to everyone, sir. Please
Lovely.
continue your session, sir.
So without further ado, we'll kick start. Right. So today in today's session, you're gonna learn a few things. Firstly, you're gonna learn the LMM framework, which I'll take you through. You'll learn 7 lessons in leadership, 5 marketing hacks and pro tips, and 3 pillars of mental well-being. After which I'm going to open up a Q&A so you can ask me anything after that. But let me take you back to 2008 to give you some more context. 2008, there were 2 young boys who had just passed out of college, who had nothing in their pockets, just a single laptop. And they embarked on a journey of entrepreneurship, leadership, and marketing. And slowly and steadily, today, we manage some of the world's best brands, right from Taj Hotels to Tata Steel to Bisleri to Dell, amongst a lot others. Doing some iconic work like No Place Like Home for Asian Paints, or this iconic post for Taj Hotels which went viral, which was a 100-year challenge, or the campaign for Sachin, which was Retire the Jersey, or some of the cool work that you have seen for Mumbai Police on Twitter, or the iconic campaign called Ami KKR for Kolkata Knight Riders. Beyond these campaigns, over these past 12 years, we have acquired 5 companies. And a lot of leadership was required to acquire these companies. We were also the first company to start menstrual leave policy and mental wellness. And that is the reason why today we are voted by Great Place to Work as one of the best companies in media and advertising to work for the past 5 years. And today we might be India's leading and possibly the largest independent marketing company. Behind all this, and the reason why I'm telling you all this is there are 3 secrets. And I'll share them with you. First one is there was a lot of hard work, sweat, blood, and tears. The second is we did get a bit of luck, which was always helpful. But the third one and the most important one is the LMM framework, which I'll share with you today. So the LMM framework is combined of leadership, marketing, and mental wellness. And when these 3 things combine, you're able to grow your network, you're able to give better to your students, and you're able to recharge better so that you can keep growing. You see, this is a loop. Every time you recharge, you grow further. Every time you grow further, you give back to your students better. And every time you give back, you need that space to recharge yourself. And when you do that, you have seekers, which are people who are in thirst of knowledge, which become students. And after they become your students, they become your promoters, they become your advocates. And this promoter and advocate goes ahead and increases and influences strangers to again become your seekers. So this is a loop which keeps on going and keeps on increasing your community, keeps on increasing the number of people that you impart knowledge to and education to, and you increase your knowledge of influence. So with that, I'm going to start with the 7 lessons of leadership. And the first lesson is you should know your why. And once you know your why, your will increase. What does this mean? This means that everything that you do, there should be a reason behind it, which cannot be just you're passionate about teaching or there is profits in teaching, right? You teach, and I'm sure most of you are teaching because you want to influence the coming generation. You want to make this world a better place. And the moment a person gets their why right, their resolve and will to teach better automatically increases. Okay, so once you have a strong why, your will be even stronger. And people will see it, they'll feel it, and your action will inspire them to dream more, to learn more, and to do more, and to become more. Right? So it's very important that all of us revisit and figure out, why are we in this profession? Why are we teachers? And if we answer that well, I'm sure in times to come, our will be stronger, our resolve will be stronger, and we'll get better as teachers. The next part that I want to show with all of you is to define your core values. And here I would love to hear from you, right? What are the qualities that you see in a leader, according to you? What are some of the qualities? And you can use the chat to share them with us. What are some of the qualities that you see in a leader? Vision. Okay. What else? Empathy. Great communication. What else do you find in a leader? A leader is dynamic. Darshana says, yeah. You can motivation. Naval says best delegation. Okay. Ryu says cooperative. Problem solving, honest, understanding, teamwork, optimistic, Sheetal says. Mukesh Gupta says more confidence. Ria says motivator. So a lot of these things are there, right? And if I have to just put it quickly, a leader is accountable, confident, inspires others. A lot of things that you guys were saying. But, you know, amongst all these things, it is very important that one day you sit down and write it down. That if you are a leader, what are the qualities that you have, and what are the qualities that you really want to gain over a period of time? Because I totally believe that leaders are not just born, but leaders can be bred. Leaders cannot be bred if you don't write down, if you don't know what you want, if you don't know what qualities you have to imbibe. And there are so many of these qualities, right? Honest, transparent, good listener, be real, be optimistic. But there are certain things which I want to share with you, which are deeply impression in my mind, which I feel that if you have as a leader, you will be no ordinary leader. You will be a level 5 leader. And for that, let me show you a small example. Okay. This is a small picture that I'm sharing with you. What do you see in this picture? Can you write down on the chat? What are you seeing in this picture? Ria says you see a window. Hina says window pane. Correct? What else? I think Ryu gets it right. You see a mirror and a window pane. So there is a mirror on the wall and there is a window. And that is exactly what I'm going to come to. That is exactly how great leaders behave. So great leaders, when things go well, a great leader looks outside the window and attributes the success to external factors, right? The institution, the infrastructure, the students. A great leader, when things are going on, doesn't take the credit himself, all right? And gives other people the credit for it. But at the same time, when things are not going that well, the great leader looks at the mirror. And when the person looks at the mirror, he says, you know what? He takes the responsibility of things and says, it was my bad luck. Or doesn't blame it on others, right? So that's a quality of a great leader. So every time you have these moments of truth, remember that when things go bad, look in the mirror. When things are great, look outside the window and give credit. And that's a great quality of a leader. And we as teachers are in this beautiful position to give credit to our students, to give credit to the institute. And we should be doing that more and more often. I would request everyone not to use the annotation here, and please keep the screen clean so that it doesn't obstruct other people. Yeah, thank you very much. So a great leader for me has all those qualities what you mentioned: honesty, proactive, great communication, transparency, but he definitely has intense determination and profound humility. If you can get those two things together, you'll be a great leader. Okay. And now I just want to quickly share one screen that I had shown you earlier. There is one interesting thing in this screen. In fact, this is the view of my office as soon as you enter my office, can you see a word written over there? And the word says integrity. Okay, because every single day when my leaders come to the office, or when my clients come to the office, I keep reminding them that the most important thing for us is integrity. And integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. That's the beauty of integrity, right? And great leaders have always high integrity. The third thing is accepting brutal facts. Today, this entire scenario around us has changed. Technology has impacted us. Everyone is going digital first. We never knew we would be stuck in our homes for so long, right? There's two things we can do. We can either crib about it, complain about it, say we can't go out, say we can't do anything, or we can just accept this brutal fact and see what best we can do. And the people who accept these facts the earliest are the ones who accelerate the fastest, right? So important quality of great leaders is to accept the brutal facts. For today, and I would refer back to this Chinese word called VG. VG in Chinese means crisis. And it is made of two words, V and G, where V in Chinese means a time of danger and G means a time of opportunity. So in every crisis, there's an opportunity only if we have the right attitude towards it. Okay. So a time of danger is also a time of opportunity. That is what crises mean. So whenever the things are bad and they don't go your way, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it, address it, and move on. See what you can think positively in these scenarios to accelerate yourself. The next lesson is find your niche. It is so important that as a leader, we focus on certain things and not be over the place, right? And for this, I would remind ourselves of this cute little animal that you're seeing on the screen. It's called a hedgehog. And there is something known as the hedgehog concept. And what does this hedgehog concept teach us to become a great leader? It tells us that if you're deeply passionate about something, and figure out what you are best in the world at, and thirdly, figure out what can be profitable to you. And if you combine these three things, you will get that one particular thing that you're arguably really good at, you're very passionate at, and you can also make money out of it. Maybe it's a course, maybe it's a teaching style, right? And you have to figure it out for yourself. But once you figure it out, focus on it. Nothing great happens overnight. Be consistent on it over and over a period of time to really accelerate yourself. Okay, so really figure out what are you better than anyone else. And once you answer that question, be like a hedgehog and keep on working on that and keep on bettering that. The fifth point, what I want to show you and share with you is from action to solution. See, words are cheap. Everyone is going to talk about things, but how many people put those things into action is what is important. And not just any action. It's very cheap again to keep on working hard and keep on being over and over it. But mapping your actions to tangible goals is what is important, right? So every time you're putting in your effort somewhere, before putting in your effort, figure out that if I put in this effort, what is that one thing that I want to expect as a goal from it or as an outcome from it? And are you getting there? So that is something that you should keep on being very, very strict about before you indulge in anything. Now, let me tell you a small example that whenever, in practice, we spoke about so many qualities, but you'll always have moments of truth. These are moments where actually you can implement all these teachings. And that time I've just put this on screen to remind you that you will get the chance to implement all this. I want to finally come to this rule, which is the 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of what we do actually gives 20% of our results. And 20% gives 80% of the result. So what is very important is that while we become that hedgehog, while we focus on certain things, what is that 20%? It's not just enough keep on working hard all the time, but are we working smart? Are we focusing on the priority work? Are we focusing on that 20% which actually gives 80% of our output? And for that, you have to take a pause and you have to introspect that what is that 20%? Is it a cause? Is it something that I do in a particular class which is most effective for my students? What is that thing that gives the maximum impact? And it doesn't come easy. You have to really spend time understanding that. And once you understand that, start focusing more on that 20%. That is where you really exponentially accelerate as a trainer, as a teacher, as a leader. Okay, another thing that I love sharing is that you always stay lean in whatever you're doing. And I'm going to share a lot of marketing tips later on. And it's very important at that time also to stay lean in these marketing trips, but think really big about them. Okay, and this is very, very, very similar. Just imagine yourself that you're on a ship and you're in the ocean, in a wide ocean, and you're approaching the coast of Africa. Okay, and suddenly ship approaching you. And when this pirate ship is approaching, you know that if this pirate ship gets closer to you, you'll die. So what do? On your ship, there are some bullets and there is only one cannonball left. One Barud ka gola left. There are two things you can do. One is put the cannonball, start shooting at the pirate ship. There is a great possibility that you'll miss it. And if you miss it, then the bullets are of no use to you. But what great leaders do is that first they fire a small bullet. They do small experiments. Whether it is a new course that you're launching, whether it's a new marketing initiative that you're going to do for yourself as a teacher. Start small. Start with small experiments. And you fire one bullet at the pirate ship. If it misses, you recalibrate and you shoot again. If it misses, you recalibrate. And the moment you hit one bullet, waste no time in firing the cannonball and destroying the ship. Similarly, in your teaching styles, in your course content, in your marketing strategy, which I'll share with you. First, start with small experiments. And the moment one experiment is working well, just go all out and waste no time. That's how successful leaders become successful. The sixth point I want to come to you is to stay focused and stay disciplined. Do some things, but do them consistently every single day. Whether it is marketing, whether it is traits of leadership. Okay? And eventually, when you're steady and consistent, you'll get a breakthrough. That's what I totally believe. It's not good to do one big thing and forget about it. One big webinar that you're going to do after I take you through some of the marketing activities, that you get inspired to do one big webinar and you do that webinar and you don't do anything after that. That's not what it is. It is about doing smaller things consistently over a period of time to eventually get that breakthrough success. That's how great leaders become successful. And the final leadership trick that I want to share with you is something that I say, the KPI mindset. And here with KPI, it's not just about goals, but KPI stands for, K stands for Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese technique which says constant improvement. Kai stands for change, Zen stands for good. And Kaizen means change for good. Okay, this is how great startups are born. This is how great leaders are born. This is how great companies are born. And this is also how great teachers are born, where constantly you solicit feedback. How many of us actually go to our students and ask for feedback? How many of us say, what could we have done better in this class after we have given a class that we think we are good at? Okay, if we take feedback, if we listen to other people and make those small tweaks, we don't need to make big tweaks. We need to make small changes, but make these changes constantly. At one point, we'll become great at what we do. Okay, so continuous improvement, Kaizen is the first K. The second K, the second alphabet is P, which is positive affirmation. And for this, let me share a small video with you, okay, of this young, cute boy, and see what he says.
I can do anything. I am smart. I am blessed. I can do anything.
That sweet moment.
Okay, this is young boy says, I am smart, I am blessed, I can do anything. And at a lot of times, it is once we start believing in ourselves, once we start reminding ourselves that how good we are, how special we are, and how grateful we are to be alive today, that all the positive energy around us starts translating into action. And somehow the world conspires to give us what we really want. But most of the time we are procrastinating. We are saying possibly I'm not good enough, and this is a bad day for me, so nothing is going to go my way, which side of the bed did I get up from? And, and because of all that negative energy that we get inside us and around us, we are not able to reach our goals. So today we're going to change that. And I'm not going to do it alone. All of you are going to do it with me. So in your minds, or verbally, or through the chat, I want you to repeat a few things with me, because change has to begin today. It has to begin today on this webinar for all of you. Okay, so please repeat after me. You can do it in your mind, you can say it aloud, or you can chat, or you can type it on the chat so that everyone sees that you're reaffirming yourself as well. And that will also influence other people. First thing is, say, I am blessed. I am blessed.
I am blessed.
Yes.
I am blessed. I am blessed.
Fantastic. I am blessed. I'm blessed to be alive.
I am blessed.
Yes. And do this every single day. Thank Bhagwan, thank God, thank Allah, thank for whoever you believe in, for you to be,
I am blessed.
and for you to
I'm
be
blessed.
safe right now at your home. There are so many people who are struggling with this pandemic that and all of us are so lucky to be safe at home and being on this webinar today. And we have to be grateful for that. So, and not just today, but every single day. So I am blessed is one thing. Second thing is, remind yourself that you're a winner. I am a winner. All of you
I
were,
am a winner.
but we forgot that. We forgot that somewhere along the way. With the stress and with the tension and with the failures that we have, we forgot to think like winners. We forgot that, the one above who has got us into this world has made us a winner. Repeat, I am a winner.
I am a winner. I am a winner.
Yes, I am a winner.
I am a winner.
Because when you start saying
I
it,
am a
you
winner.
start believing it.
I am a winner.
You will be a winner one day.
winner.
The next thing I want you to repeat with me is, I can do it. There is nothing which is impossible for you.
I can do it.
I can do it.
I
Yes.
can do it.
No matter what the difficulty, I can do it.
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 Yes, I can do it.
I can do it. I can do it.
Lovely. And the last thing is,
I can do it.
today is my day. And today is your day because you're hearing all these things. And this is going to have such an impact with you.
Today is my day.
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 Today
Today is my day.
Today is my day.
It is.
Today is my day.
Lovely. So we're going to repeat these 4 things every single day. I am blessed. I am a winner. I can do it. Today is my day. Okay.
Today is my day.
Yes, sir. I'm a winner.
All of you have already taken not just one small step, but a big leap towards becoming a successful winner today. Yeah.
Today is my day.
Lovely. Great. Thank you. Now I'm going to go to the next.
Today is my day. I'm a winner.
We said KPI. We did Kaizen. We did positive affirmation. But I is remaining. And I stands for innovation. Today, you cannot become the leader of the future if you do not innovate. Okay? If we think that using Zoom is difficult, I cannot give a Zoom lecture to my students, or I cannot do a webinar, or I cannot create a digital marketing course, or I cannot create a course of my own subject and publish it on LinkedIn. If I'm not innovating enough, someone else will be, and you will be left behind. So it's very important for all of us to have the mindset of innovation all the time. Okay, so but innovation is not just to do random innovation. It is to see which technologies work and use those technologies for your key strength. So your key strength is, for example, you're a great content creator for a particular subject. Now you already know how to create content. Are there tools there which can make this content creation automated? Are there tools which can make this content go virtual? Are there tools which can amplify this content and for you to give this course content to someone on the other part of the world? Is it possible? Yes, it is today. So using technology to amplify your key strengths, not just using technology for the sake of using technology, is what is going to take you ahead. Okay, and innovation is what is going to really distinguish between a leader and a follower. But a lot of us, are very scared of innovation. Today, how many of us are very active on LinkedIn? Absolutely not. We don't post regularly. How many of us have given a live session to our students? Raise your hands. How many of us have given a live session? Okay, I see some hands. I see 10 hands. Okay, lovely. Great. Great. So we have some innovators here. And at the same time, when you're giving all these lives, you know that there was a possibility to simultaneously stream this live across multiple platforms and to leverage technology to increase your reach. Okay. Many of us know about this, but few of us do it in action. Okay. Because sometimes we are really scared of failure. What if it doesn't work? But sometimes failure and learning from it is the most important part of innovation. Okay. So don't be afraid to fail. Be very, very afraid not to try. Okay. So with that, those were my 7 lessons for you in leadership. I'm going to go to my 5 marketing hacks for you. Today, every single one of you is not just a teacher. You also are a marketer. You market the knowledge that you have to your students, to the world at large. And if you can become great at marketing, your entire community of students will increase. The people that you influence, your knowledge will increase. Okay. So do you guys want to become a good marketer and you want to start today?
Yeah.
Raise your hands. Let me know if you're with me. Okay, lovely. So I'm going to share with you 5 very actionable tips which can get you started to becoming a good marketer. Because at times we don't know where to start. All of us want to become a great marketer, but we don't know where to start. There is so much. Google has so much of information and at times we get lost. So I have drilled it down into 5 key actionable points. And if you follow those 5 points, you will have a great head start in becoming a good marketer. Okay, so we'll kickstart with it. The most important point, guys, the most important point, everyone of us wants to become a marketer, but we are not committed to it. It's a short-lived desire. We think about it when we see someone else marketing and we say, okay, a co-worker or a co-teacher is marketing him or her so well. And why are we not marketing? And we feel the angst sometimes. We feel someone in US or UK as a teacher marketing themselves very well. And we feel that why can't we do it? But that entire, inspiration, that entire resolve is very short-lived at times. We sleep over it, we get busy with our own work, and then we forget about it. So the first point to becoming a good marketer as a teacher is to make a commitment to invest in your personal brand. Today, every one of you has students, but this COVID-19 pandemic has opened you into the classroom of the world. Today, the entire world is your classroom. And most of these students will never meet you in person. They will be digitally connected to you. And they'll meet you first time on social media, on a Zoom chat, on a GoToMeeting. So before they meet you, they will Google you. They will get to know more about you. That why should I learn from this teacher? Have you looked at your Google searches? When you Google your name all of you, after this webinar, go and Google your name. See what comes. Is it just some random links which are coming? Or is Google talking well about you? Is there a mention about you? Is there an article about you? Is there an automated annotation about you? Is there a video about you which is already there, which you're teaching some students? Because all that makes a great first impression. Today, everyone who's digitally connected with you will meet you first on digital, then will meet you in person. Now with the COVID pandemic, we also don't know how soon we'll be meeting people, but everyone will definitely meet you on digital. So make sure that you make a commitment today to improve your personal brand, to invest in yourself. And sometimes we are ashamed. We say that, we as teachers, why should we be investing in a personal brand? Is it sounding not so humble? No, you can still be humble. You can have humility, but you have to let the world know what skill set you have. Because unless you let the world know about it, no one is going to come suddenly and discover you. It is very easy when people come to a classroom, because that time you're mandated to be in the classroom. Students will anyway come to the classroom. But when you're on the digital world, people have to discover you. And they'll only discover you if your personal brand is good, if you're able to showcase your strengths in a strong manner. So today, make a resolve that all of you will start investing in your personal brand. Okay? And I'll tell you how to do it. By going on the second point. The first thing that you have to do is craft in one line what you're all about. You are a teacher, but what is different about you? What is unique about you? Is it the kind of things that you teach? Is it a framework that you have come up with? Is it your teaching style? What is different? And why do you exist? Why do you exist as a teacher? Okay, so it's very important to craft your positioning statement. After your positioning, you have to craft your strategy. It is not wise to go on all the platforms together. Today, what we do is we quickly make a Facebook account, Twitter account, LinkedIn account, YouTube account, and we are suddenly there everywhere without a well-defined strategy. On my point number 5, I'll tell you how to craft that strategy, but remember that you have to craft your platform strategy. Which platform you go with, and on those platforms, what kind of a content are you creating? Are you someone who will create a video content? Are you someone who will create a video content in a vernacular language? Are you someone who will create a long format content? Are you someone who will create a short format content? Are you someone who will create an infographic? What is your content strategy? So your content strategy as well as your platform strategy are two things that you have to think before deep diving into marketing. And the final thing that you have to think about is you have to set a measurable goal or a target for yourself. Why are you doing marketing? Are you doing marketing? Is your goal that your connections on LinkedIn will increase, or your followers on LinkedIn will increase? Or is your goal that for every video content that you're putting up, there'll be thousands and thousands of people who view your content and consume your content and make their life better with your course? Or is your goal going to be that from followers to viewers to actually people who pay you for your content, subscribers and paid users? What is your goal? Define that. It could be anything. It could be engagement, viewership, or paid users. Define that. And these goals should be revisited every 3 months to refine them and fine tune them and to improve on them, right? So when you're starting today, for example, my advice to you would be that make your goal to increase your community and engagement. So every piece of content that you're doing, how many people are liking, sharing, engaging with you on that should be your goal. But maybe after 6 months, you have to translate that engagement into people who are subscribed to your course and who come into an exclusive course or an exclusive webinar for you. So that funnel has to come from engagement to conversions. That's how you have to look at it. So these goals should keep on changing. Now, let me give you an example of a positioning statement. For example, I'll give you the positioning statement for myself, what I've crafted, right? So my positioning is helping people and brands achieve what seemed impossible. That in one line defines every single piece of content I create, every single webinar I do, every single university session I take. Every single time I put a simple tweet or a LinkedIn post, I remind myself, helping people and brands achieve what seem impossible is my larger positioning statement. So each one of you have to craft your own positioning statement. Okay. The third thing that you have to do is to build your hub. At times we make a mistake that we do our marketing and suddenly we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, but we don't have any place where we can collect our own data. Because remember, neither Facebook nor YouTube nor LinkedIn in times to come will give you the kind of data that would be required for you to increase your subscriber base. Okay, you'll have engagement, you will have likes, plus the policies of these platforms keep on changing. One fine day you started on making a Facebook group, okay, and you build a huge Facebook group of your students, but 1 year from today a Facebook group might be redundant, and when it becomes redundant you have suddenly lost years and years of all your hard work. It has happened to a lot of people. It has happened to a lot of brands that I work with. You know, when we started in 2008, everyone wanted to build Facebook fan page and Facebook communities. But today, most of the brands don't want to build that. They're going on Instagram. Tomorrow, there might be another platform. So these platforms will keep on changing. What is important for you is to make sure that you're collecting all this data and just using these platforms to increase your reach. So remember that your hub has to be either your blog or your website. That is where you have to collect all the data. Whether tomorrow you get some PR, you do social media, you do webinars, you do search engine optimization to increase when someone Googles you, why do you pop up? And people should pop up when you Google your name, but you should also pop up when people are Googling the courses that you actually teach. So if I today teach digital marketing or leadership, and if I Google digital marketing or leadership, am I coming up on Google? That is how I'm going to get new people hooked on to my courses that I'm creating, right? So you have to think about it, right? You have to think about how your Google searches are coming. And all this data has to come into your website. So don't ignore your website. Start basic. There are a lot of free tools to give you a website at the touch of the button. All you have to take is an effort. You have to take an effort and go and create it. So go today, spend 2 hours to create your own personal website. Your future self will thank you for it. The fourth point is, after you have made your website, you have to make something which I say is a content pyramid and map it to a content calendar. Now, a lot of you will ask me what a content pyramid is there. Now, when I talk about content, video content, infographic content, webinar content, social media posts, blog articles, these are different formats of content, but you can break it down into 3 formats, which is a pyramid, which looks something like this. If all of you can see my screen, it's called the hero, hub, and hygiene strategy. What does this mean? Hygiene is a kind of content that you would put every day or every alternate day. This could be stuff like small posts, short posts, one-liners, small images, right? Whether you're putting it on WhatsApp, whether you're putting on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. This is everyday content. This is known as hygiene content. The next content is known as hub content or episodic content. What does this mean? This means that every week you come up with a kind of a module. For example, on Mondays, you're going to come up with a course on motivation. For example, I do a Monday motivation course, right? So every Monday, I'm going to do Monday motivation course, and it is episodic in nature. It repeats itself periodically. So your audience, whether it is students, whether it is other people, know that every single Friday or every single Monday, so-and-so teacher is going to come up with this series, which I need to follow. Try to do it at a particular time, on a particular day. And this over a period of time will help you because people will know that a particular teacher does a particular session and I don't want to miss it because it's such a great session. And the final content is the hero content. Now, hero content could be once in a month, it could be once in a quarter, or even it could be once in a year. For example, if you go and do a TED Talk, and that TED Talk video now becomes a hero content for you. And a lot of us at times, we have TEDx happening in each one of our colleges and universities, but we don't bother participating ourselves. Why shouldn't teachers be more actively participating in them and creating one great video which is there on YouTube, which actually becomes your hero content. Think about it. I recommend you do it. Okay, I'll go to the next point. Once you've got your content pyramid in place, this is a kind of a content calendar. It can be done on a simple Excel sheet. There are many of these content calendars available, or you can ping me and I can give you a link for the content calendar that I use personally, which can help you. I'll share the Google sheet with you, and it looks something like this, that for every single day, you will get to know what you're going to be posting a week in advance, a month in advance. This is how brands do their marketing. You don't get up one fine day and start thinking, okay, today what do I have to post? All this content is planned in advance, at least 80%. The remaining 20% should be based on news and articles that are coming every single day. It is topical in nature. So today, if something is trending, you as a teacher, as a thought leader, are you talking about it? Is it related to your area of specialization? If yes, then talk about it. So what I would say is that 80% of the content is planned and 20% of the content is real time. And this is how a content calendar looks like. And then there are more details for it. For example, if you can see on the screen right now, there is day, date, time, title, message, link, campaign, image. It's a simple Excel sheet and you can write it to create all your content in advance. So every single day, you're not thinking of creating content. Most of your content is already done. So that's known as a content calendar. And finally, first focus on the low-hanging fruits, then climb. Don't be in a rush to do all kinds of marketing at once. Figure out that for yourself, what is that right kind of marketing? And attack that first. A good place to start is Google Trends. How many of you have gone to Google Trends? Can you raise your hands? Have you guys gone to Google Trends? So just on Google, write trends, okay, and you will get this amazing dashboard which is known as Google Trends. There on Google Trends, you can go and write any search term. For example, I have written over here digital marketing. And this is what Google is showing me, that since 2004 till today, how is the number of people who are searching for digital marketing increased? Now I see that, a lot of people are searching for digital marketing. So should I start creating more content around it? Yes. And then I create more content around it. Similarly, each one of you teachers have your area of specialization. In that area of specialization, there'll be many keywords which are there. Start looking at and see which are the searches people are doing around your area of specialization. Because start creating content on which the search trends are a lot. Now I'm going to share with you a very simple video which will tell you as to how YouTube, which is such an important aspect after LinkedIn, to create content for teachers, because on YouTube, a lot of people write how-to videos, The basic practice for a lot of students, if they want to learn something, is that they'll go to Google and they'll write, how do you do XYZ thing? Okay. So how-to videos are very popular and that is the lowest hanging fruit. If you want to start creating videos, start creating how-to videos. And I'll give you a small video in which YouTube is giving us some tips as to how you should create YouTube videos.
Welcome to this series of videos about how YouTube's search and discovery system works. In this one, we're taking a look at search itself. Like Google's search engine, YouTube's search aims to surface the most relevant videos and channels according to what people type in the search box. The results aren't just based on the most viewed videos. Videos are ranked on things like how well the title, descriptions, and video itself match each query. Beyond that, we look at which videos have driven the most watch time and engagement for a search phrase. So, what can you do to help your videos get found in search results? Consider the following. Use relevant search terms in your titles and descriptions. Try looking at Google Trends to see which words people are searching for. What's key here is being relevant. Don't try to trick viewers or they may abandon your video early, and that could hurt its performance in the long run. Write full descriptions, up to 1 to 2 paragraphs. Some creators only put their social media links in the description, potentially missing out on a lot of extra views. Pay attention to trending and seasonal topics and consider making videos around those, especially within your own content category. Okay, so that's YouTube search, but what about suggested videos? Next, let's talk about how they work and what you can do to help your videos get discovered there. Click here to watch the next video, or go back and learn about how the algorithm follows the audience.
I'm sharing this video with you. All of you could look at it later. So YouTube tells you that how do you have to craft the description? How do you have to look at topical and trending things to craft better content as teachers? Yeah. I'll go to the next point, which is also equally important, which is the LinkedIn Learning Academy. Now, this is a very nice tool which will give you all the basics to kickstart your LinkedIn learning journey. Okay. So don't get deviated, don't get distracted. Just follow this LinkedIn Learning Academy and you will be through that. Okay. This is very easily available. I'll be sharing a link for this as well. I'm going to come to mental wellness. Everything that we said will be of no use if you are not at peace. One very important yet very sad incident. Okay, and this incident is about the CEO of SAP India. You know SAP India? So SAP India CEO in 2009, a very young guy, you know, in his early 40s, very healthy, used to eat well, used to exercise regularly. You know, he was on jogging on Juhu Beach and he got a heart attack. And unfortunately, he was no more. What do you think was the reason? He was a healthy guy, no ailment, no problem, used to eat amazing, used to exercise regularly. What do you think was the reason for his untimely demise? Less sleep? That's a good one. Okay, so the first point is stress less and sleep well. You know, there is so many times we take unnecessary stress in our lives, things which is not really important for us. And 1 week or 1 month later, we don't even care. But at that moment, it really hampers the way we think. We are not able to do good things. We are tense. You know, even things that we would have otherwise done right or given a good lecture goes all haywire because we are stressed because of personal reasons, because of professional reasons. Okay. Remember that in the long run, all these things don't matter. Okay. So have that attitude that whenever you're stressed, go in a calm place and meditate. That is something that has helped a lot of people that I know. You should try it as well. And the second thing is to sleep well. You know, don't be burnt out. Give yourself good sleep. And for this, I'll remind you of one simple poem by Rudyard Kipling, which is so ingrained in my life. I'm sure all of you would have heard this, which is the poem called If. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. Such thought-provoking things. You know, when you're down and about, don't berate yourself too much. Or when you're very good, don't even celebrate yourself too much. You know, so being balanced. You know, as some people are saying, Shabana is saying prayers do help. Someone is saying meditate. So I think all these things really are extremely important. We all know about it, but we don't give it importance. And I want to share one video with you, which is even more thought-provoking, which reminds us that, you know, at times we build these walls around ourselves. We get into these struggles with our co-workers, with our co-faculty, with some of the students, with people at our home, right? And all these struggles are not really in the long run. So listen to this quick video and what they have to say.
I had read about this guest house in Varanasi where people check in to die. It's called Kashi Labh Mukti Bhavan. Rooted in the belief system of many Hindus is that if you take your last breath in Kashi, you attain what is popularly known as fruit of Kashi or Kashi Labh, which is moksha or salvation. Now the interesting fact is that you're only allowed 2 weeks to stay in and die. So you have to be really sure. If you're still hanging around after 2 weeks, you got to check out. So I was really curious and fascinated to understand what would those people have learned who have not only accepted death as a reality, but are rather anticipating it with the timer on. So I went to Varanasi, spent a week in the guest house and interviewed people who had checked in. Phenomenal, their life lessons were really thought-provoking. So in the same environment, I met Mr. Bhairav Nath Shukla, who has been the manager of Mukti Bhavan for last 44 years. He has seen more than 12,000 deaths. So I asked him, what have you learned after seeing both life and death at such close quarters? He shared with me 12 life lessons, of which I wrote a blog post and it's read and shared by millions of people across the world and became highly popular. But there's one life lesson in that series which is Mr. Shukla's favorite and resonated deep with me, and the life lesson is resolve all conflicts before you go. He told me a backstory to it. There was a Sanskrit scholar of the times by the name of Ram Sagar Mishra. Mishra was one of the eldest of the 6 brothers and was closest to the youngest. One argument years ago led to this bitter communication between the brothers and led to a wall eventually partitioning the house. In his final years, Mishra checked into the guest house with his little pan case and told Shukla to reserve room number 3 for him because he was sure he's going to pass away on day 16th after his arrival. On day 14th, he said, I want my estranged brother of 40 years to come and see me. This bitterness heavies my heart. I want to resolve every conflict before I go. A letter was sent out. On 16th day, the brother arrived and Mishra held his hand and asked him to bring down the wall dividing the house. He asked for his brother's forgiveness. Both brothers wept, and mid-sentence, Mishra stopped speaking. His face became calm, and he was gone in a moment. And I know that anecdote sounds straight out of a folk fiction novel, but Mr. Shukla told me that he has seen the same story replay over and over again with many different people who have come there. He said to me, Deepak, I see so many people carrying such unnecessary baggage throughout their life, only wanting to drop it at the very end of their journey. The trick, he said, however, lies in not having any conflict, but resolving every conflict as soon as you have it. You cannot and you should not go to bed having an argument, a disappointment, a resentment and doubt. You should try to resolve it. Because you see, the good news is you're alive. The bad news is no one knows for how long. So resolve your conflicts today. I hope this makes and fuels your day.
Such thought-provoking, right? We carry all this baggage till the very end. Today, let us resolve that we are going to resolve all our conflicts. We are not going to carry this baggage anymore, which stresses us. Okay? And for that, even if we have to be the one, the bigger person, to go and apologize or to forgive someone, let's take that step today, because life is short and it is not for you to carry this stress and carry this baggage. Okay, so today, come, let us all together resolve to forgive people, because when you forgive, you heal yourself. You're forgiving the other person, but you're healing yourself. And when you let go, you actually grow yourself, right? So please repeat after me today, and either you repeat it in words or in your mind or on chat. I forgive. and pick the person that you need to forgive. After this webinar, call that person up or walk it with the person at your home.
Sajan, இதுல எப்படி screenshot பண்ணா screen move ஆகுது இப்ப எடுக்குது ஆனா
I forgive.
ஒரு நிமிஷம் அமைதியா இருங்க மைக் ஆன் பண்றேன்.
I forgive.
I forgive. Right? Think, visualize.
I forgive.
I forgive.
I forgive.
Okay. Now also write, I let go. Whatever the hate was there in your head, you know, just let it go. Let it go through. It is not worth it in the longer run. You're more than
I let go.
so many more things to do in life.
I let go.
Great. So forgive and let go.
I forgive. I let go. I let go. I forgive and I let go.
All the bad emotions, hate, anger, animosity, you know, something that someone has wronged you. It was not your fault. But today is the time to just let it go. Because let it go so that you can grow and you can go ahead in life. And finally, my last point today is, you know, in our society, especially in India, there is such a big taboo around mental wellness. And especially for teachers, you know, because we teachers are supposed to be the strong people. You know, we are giving education to others, we are empowering others. How can a teacher appear vulnerable? How can a teacher appear weak? And because of that, we as teachers don't ask for help. And it keeps on building within us. Don't make this mistake. Ask for help whenever needed. Ask your co-workers. Ask someone who's comfortable. Don't think that they'll judge you. This society is changing. Today is acceptable and it is a norm to ask for help. If you're struggling with stress, if you're struggling with depression. Also at the same time, it is your responsibility to see if your co-faculty member or a co-teacher is behaving differently, seems to be stressed, seems to be overworked. Give help. Ask for help, but if you're in a position, give help. And if both of us start doing this, asking for help and giving help, we together as a community of teachers will be stronger and better to serve our students, to serve this community, to build the future generation of leaders and entrepreneurs of our great nation. Yeah. And with that, I've come to the end of today's session. So what have we learned today? We learned the LMM framework. We learned 7 lessons in leadership. We learned 5 marketing hacks and 3 pillars of mental being. So totally, how many tips did I give you? Can you type? How many tips were there? 15. 15 of them. And how are you going to remember 15? Okay. What was the first one? Leadership. It was about your why, your will. Type it if you remember. Your will, your why. What was the second one? Define your core values. We spoke about the mirror and the window. What a great leader is all about. Then we spoke about accepting the brutal reality. The reality we can't go out of the house today. The reality that there will be challenge, there will be competition, all that. Accepting that. Then we spoke about finding your niche. Remember the hedgehog that was there. Something that you're really good at, better than everyone else. The hedgehog concept. Then we spoke about taking actions to solutions. We spoke about how you have to fire bullets and then cannonballs. The pirate ship which was coming. We also spoke about staying focused and disciplined. Not getting distracted by tiny, shiny objects. Focusing on that one thing and doing it consistently till we break through as teachers, till we break through as leaders. And then adopting the KPI mindset. Do you remember KPI? What is K? Please type. Kaizen. Constant improvement. P was for positive affirmation. I am a winner. I will win today. Today is my day. Remember that. Don't forget it. Don't get it limited just to this webinar. Take it in your life. Implement it. And after leadership, we spoke about innovation, right? How you have to innovate, how you have to embrace technology, how you have to get better at it. Then we spoke about 5 marketing tips. Firstly, committing. That after this webinar, it's not just this webinar, but after this webinar, you'll go out and you'll make a plan. You'll craft your positioning statement. You'll figure out which platform you have to go to, where your students are, how you'll build your community, and then setting goals. Whether it is engagement, community building, or conversions or paid users, figure that out. Then your hub. Easy to make website, but start somewhere. Create a hub. Don't just be limited to all these third-party platforms. They're there today, they might not be there tomorrow, and all your content will get lost. So have your website. Then the content pyramid. Hero, hub, hygiene. Divide your content in a content pyramid and map it to a content calendar. Okay. And lastly, focus on the low-hanging fruit. YouTube and LinkedIn for you guys. Leveraging Google Trends to figure out what your students are searching for, what the world is searching for, and then actually creating content around it. And then we went to the 3 pillars of mental well-being. Stress less, sleep well, resolve all your conflicts, forgive and let go, and finally ask for help. And if you can, give help. Okay? And if you do all those things, all of you will go and win. You will be the winners of tomorrow. And just before I do that, I want to share one more thing with all of you. Okay? And this one thing is, if you know that today, that entire statistic is there that if one of you is, God forbid, if one person is infected with coronavirus, he infects more than 400 people. One person infects more than 400 people, right? In a similar manner, each one of you, if you get infected with all the positive things that we spoke about, all of you can go and infect all your students, the 15 lessons that we learned today. Okay? And I'm so glad and I'm so humbled that today for my session there are teachers, because each one of you is an ambassador. Each one of you have so many students that you can inspire and actually build the future of our country. Right? I am very thankful for the entire institute, to Dr. Leena Sarkar, to Mr. Mustafa, and the entire organizing committee to having me here. And I'm delighted that all of you have been such an engaged audience. I'm really thankful to be there. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys benefited from it. You guys learned something new, and you're going to implement it in your life. I'm happy to take a few questions right now if you guys would have, and with that we will complete the session, because we have run out of time. Thank you so much for all the love. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Savita. Thank you, Bhupendra. I'm humbled to be here. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Bharti. Thank you, Dr. Sheila.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So if any one of you have questions, you could either put it over here, or I'm giving you one link. All right. And this is a link for the LinkedIn post. Okay. You can click on this link and you can even comment over there, and I'll be happy to answer, those questions. Ajit asked me a question, how to find your why. Okay. And finding a why is no easy task, Ajit. It takes companies, it takes people a lot of time to find the why. And the easy way for me and a framework to find the why is that your why cannot be about making money or just because you're good or passionate about something. You have to do something for the greater cause. Either you're doing something for your community, for your locality, for the students that you are in touch with, or for the future of the country. Okay, and if you start believing that that is your why, that you're not teaching because you're getting a salary, you're not teaching because you're passionate about the subject, but you're teaching because you want to serve this nation and you want to create future leaders or future teachers. Now that's a larger why, and you have to find your own why, and that is one way to find this why. Okay. Okay, great. So much of love. Thank you so much. It has been absolutely wonderful to be on this session. And I thank each one of you profoundly. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn address is given below. Ahmad Aftab Naqvi is on LinkedIn. And there I'll be happy if you guys want to deep dive further in improving your YouTube strategy, into improving your LinkedIn strategy. There are a series of courses that I'll be creating, or I keep giving info on that, and I'm sure all of you will benefit for that. Right? So thank you so much. Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I'm here to propose a vote of thanks, sir. We are really happy to see so many participants actively participating in the webinar, as in COVID forced us to explore things untouched before. I'm glad such platforms helps us to stay connected. It's kind of help us to get in touch without the physical presence. At this moment, we are very fortunate to have Mr. Ahmad Aftab Naqvi. Sir has spoken about the topics at length and breadth within a short span of time. It was just like capsules. We got a lot of capsules, and it will be effective. I think the three very sensible topics such as leadership, marketing, and mental wellness, which is very in need of the hour. And we are actually on the way to the BG and KSN concepts. Actually, at this time of Corona, we are learning new things, and we are definitely going to transmit to this out to our students. And your webinar, this webinar, I think it is it was a very wonderful one, because a lot of things has got covered within a short span of time, and we are very, as I told, we are very fortunate enough to have you here, sir. And I must express my thankfulness to the very lively JVM management and the very loving principal, Dr. Leena Sarkar, as they always encourage us and give us opportunities for such platforms. So not such platforms and so seminars and other things. Now at this time of Corona, it is the webinar, of course. And all the participants, once again, I express my thankfulness and thanks for Mr. Mustafa and his team who have taken effort and made it a very great success without many glitches. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you all.
Thank you.